am a Pete Primeau fan.
Thank you for having me.
Your fans are like...
What an honor to be here, Pete. You're a legend. You're a rock star.
I'm a legend in my own mind, said my wife.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I'm Mr. Selling from the Heart. What's this guy, Larry Levine, going to teach me about selling from the heart?
You are one of the most generous and authentic people around. And I think that's why you and your show are so attractive to people.
Welcome to the Pete Primeau Show. It is episode 255. I am so excited. I have two of my favorite people in the whole world here, and we are going to talk about how to transition your retail business. Let's pay the bills really quickly. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? Over 101 tips on how to sell another $1 million this year. This is a marketing book, and it's a business book. It's not a sales book. If you want a sales book on how to sell more stuff faster, I've got it for you right here. Took 43 years of experience, meeting 10 other co-authors that helped me with it, one of which is on the show, Mark Klingenberg, Jeff Chinakovo, Scott Vaughn, Chris Tahaney, Justin Trumbo, Steve Carnes, Mel Opp, Keith Castonguy, Randy Thompson, and Brent Batterman. All contributed to this book. This book is basically broken into three basic overarching big organizational things: what to do before the sale, what to do during the sale, and what to do after the sale. So if you're a sales manager or you're a store owner and you need to do sales meetings, this book represents 3 years worth of Saturday morning sales meetings. So grab it on Amazon, and I hope it's as helpful to you as it's been to hundreds of other retailers who are enjoying the book and benefiting from it. If you happen to see Steve or Greg from Mattress Industry Network Group, tell them I said thank you for sponsoring the show. If you want to learn how to build, market, sell, and succeed in the mattress business, join this group. I think we're over 2,800 strong. We might even be more than that now. You want to learn how to build, market, sell, succeed, and network. The networking opportunities in this group are through the roof. Everybody's in here, from sales pros that work your retail floor to store owners in other parts of the country, to owners of manufacturing companies, VPs of sales, sales reps. So the whole industry's in this group. You need to be in the group too. Just hit that QR code and tell them Pete sent you, and I will check in and say hi to everybody in the group at least a couple times a week. Also, I would like to give a shout out to Chris Tahaney. He's working on a great project right now. It's for sales pros, and it's about elevating our industry. So if you have a sales pro or you are a sales pro who have positively impacted a life, write up 1 to 2, 3 pages at the most. Give us a picture, send it to that email, mattressrsastories@gmail.com. Does not have to be perfect. If you're not a good writer, don't worry about it. Chris Tahaney's a great writer. He actually wrote 2 chapters in my book, and he's a very talented writer. He will clean up after it. He'll send it back to you, and you'll sign off on it. You'll say, yep, that's what I said. That's what happened. And you'll approve it before it gets published. But this is what we've got going in our industry. We've got an industry with a lot of big hearts, guys, gals, super proud of this industry. And sometimes we're a little bit too modest and we don't really want to tell our stories. We need to share our stories amongst each other about how we impacted someone's life, how we changed their life for the better. So let's get behind this and send those stories to Chris. We're not going to be able to use them all because we've got a lot of stories already. But if you have a story, send it in. If you've got shy salespeople who are uber talented and who won't send their stories in, you as a store owner or the store manager, you're welcome to send in the story. As long as it changed someone's life for the positive, we want to include it in this book. So thank you, everybody who's going to be in the group. And a special shout out to RJ Williams. Your story made me cry, dude. It was so good. And there's going to be hundreds of stories. So we're looking for this first book for 51, but there's thousands of stories out there. So please send those stories in. And I have a dear friend, been my friend for over 30 years. His daughter's husband was murdered about 4 weeks ago. She's about to have baby number 4. She has 3 other children, and they are relocating to Florida, and they are in need of our support. And so a lot of times people say, I need to give $100 or I need to give 1,000. No, you don't. If you give $5 or $10, if everybody who watches this gave $10 to $20, it would make a difference for Ashley and for her soon to be 4 children. So, one of the things that I love about our business is we always pull together. We pull together for good causes. This is a good cause. Ashley needs your support. And listen, look, we got 11,000 raised so far. We need another 14,000. So let's get behind this and jump on that link. Chris, my fabulous producer, will be posting it. And thank you, everybody that has contributed. It just shows you what a great industry we're in and how blessed we are to be able to change people's lives. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Guys, it's 255. This is a subject that doesn't get talked about enough. And I've had quite a few people, it wasn't just one person, by the way, ask me about transition in the business. And you guys just have had an incredibly successful transition from all appearances. Uh, any potential metric that I know of, you guys have passed with flying colors. So congratulations, Jordan, and congratulations, Scott. Now, let's get to the question that was kind of answered, but not all the way answered. It was from our friend in Alabama. Just pull that question up for us. I don't hear anyone talking about how to transition a retail business to the next generation. What are the keys to a successful transition based on your experience? Looking for answers in Alabama. And I partially answered that in the last show. But Scott and Jordan, you guys have lived it for the last year. So what are the keys to a successful transition?
I think he wants me to start.
You can start. Yeah, gladly.
I was going to give you the opportunity, but I think one of the keys is if it's a family member, like our case, and if he were the only child, this would be different. Than we've got 2 other children that matter to and are going to be affected. But getting an honest evaluation of the company, the value of it, and then transitioning. Knew our culture, knew everybody that worked here. They knew him. Nothing was new about that. So it made it easier than if you sold it to a stranger. It's different. So, and of course, those kind of transitions, I've got a couple of friends that are selling their businesses to complete strangers. And of course, they're keeping that person on board for years to get it transitioned. Whereas our case, I didn't have to be there. I don't have to be there every day or even close. So I'm not there a whole lot, actually. So he is just taking the reins, and he's hopefully taking what we're doing. Not hopefully, he is. He's taking what we did, and then he's springboarding it. He's got a great future ahead, and I'm really proud of him, of course. But having that in mind, we wanted to do an honest evaluation. So we used a company to give us an honest evaluation of the value of the company. Of course, they wanted to sell it to outside so they could make commission, but they did an honest evaluation of the company, and then we based it off of that, how much we would sell it for. It's Michelle Siler Tucker is who we used. She wrote the book called Exit Rich. I heard her on a podcast. I don't remember who, Robert Kiyosaki or somebody like that, maybe Tom Wheelwright. But heard her on a podcast, bought her book, and then I hired her. That's three things in order. So podcasts are important, Pete. You never know what's going to come out of a podcast. But podcast, I bought her book, I read it, I hired her, and then got an honest evaluation of the company, and then we based a selling value based off of that. So, and they take a lot of things into effect you don't think about. So highly recommend the book if you are transitioning. So that's the start. But one of the things I started with many years ago was I set a goal for when I wanted to be able to retire. I'll never retire, I don't think, till I'm dead and in the ground. But when I wanted set a number I wanted to reach financially to be able to retire. And I wanted to be able to retire at 55. I'm now 55, but I hit it at 52. When I was 52, I hit that number. So then it wasn't, as vital every sale, but of course we want to make every sale we can, but we wanted to keep building the company just because we love our customer base pretty much. And pretty much is our mission is glorifying God by serving people is our mission of any company I ever started or will start. But we want to glorify God by how well we do our business, but for our customers' benefit too. And so I think it's very important to do that no matter what. But setting those goals, I ran this rabbit around the yard, but setting those goals and then trying to reach those goals. And then when we were ready to sell the business, Jordan and Lauren, his wife, were ready to step in. And it's not easy. I don't care what anybody says. It's not easy, and Jordan will tell you that, but I think we made it as easy as possible.
One of the keys that I would say, Scott and Jordan, jump in anytime you want to, that you didn't identify, which you are like the poster child of, is you have always reached for experts and coaches, and you have sought out training for yourself and for your key people, and you have, implemented policies and procedures, and you actually created a business that could be sold. A lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. And one of the things that I tell small companies is pretend like you're going to sell this from the very beginning and document everything, the whys and the wherefores. Create a living document that changes over time with your policies and procedures and how you do things. You have always struck me, Scott, as somebody who's extremely hungry. And you're hungry for all the right reasons, because you do want to glorify God by serving people with your business. And it's really evident. And, you reaching out to Bob Munkle, you saw Bob speak and you go, this guy's good. And you started using some of his stuff, having some success, and you reach out to him more and more. Stu says, my pastor has a pastor. Yeah. And you want to know something? That is the single most important thing. If you're ever going to hire a coach, ask the coach you're about to hire who his coaches are or her coaches are. because that will tell you everything you need to know. And if they start looking at you glassy-eyed and can't tell you who their coaches are, that is not somebody you want to hire, whether they're a coach, whether they're a consultant, whether they're the leader of a mastermind. I'm in 2 masterminds right now, and I have a free one on Fridays that I don't even charge for. Becky from Somerset, Kentucky is saying we're always bringing the funk. And yes, you are. And you are a graduate of Scott's masterclass, Becky. So Becky says, hello to Scott, Jordan, and Pete from Brad and Becky. This is going to be an awesome show today, especially with these 3. Thank you. All the pressure, Jordan, all the pressure. It's just mountain. Jimmy Hurtado. Jimmy, you had your last long run before your marathon. So, brother, good luck on your marathon. I've got something I'm going to be sending to you and pretty soon. Actually, it'll be a surprise. Let's bring the funk, baby, Jimmy says. Scott and Jordan are a great example of how to serve others and continue growing your business. I love the Happy Z's team. Boy, you know, you guys have something going on. Like, it's special. You know, it really is. This has got to be RJ. Let's go. I was with Jordan at the last masterclass, and being on Pete's show was on his bucket list. Well earned, my friend. This is going to be a great one. So it's Friday. It's Black Friday, and we're like as busy as could be. And I'm like, so Jordan, did your dad tell you I want you on my show? And he goes, really? And then Scott kind of overhears me, and Scott comes running up. I forgot to tell him. And Jordan,
it has in fact been a bucket list item. I've told about 100 people. RJ is one of them. I want to be on Pete's podcast and Dave Ramsey's. That's the only 2. I'm halfway there.
I can't help you with Dave Ramsey, but after Dave sees this, there is no doubt he's going to ask you to be on.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Chris, was there another comment there? Was it from RJ?
Seth Gibson. Yeah.
Seth. Hey, Seth. My 3 heroes, long live Christus Rex. That is Jesus Christ in Latin. Right?
That's Seth.
That's my Seth.
Yeah.
Stu. Wow, they sound and look nothing alike.
Stu. I love Stu.
I love Stu. I'm glad you're here, brother. Thank you. Thank you for jumping in, man. And thank you for confessing your horrible sins that you committed by not attending the people. You're not going to be, as Scott said, you're not going to get arrested, but we might put you out on a boat in the ocean. Put a flag from another country that may not be especially popular right now. Might be a target
right now.
That was the funniest comment I've seen on Facebook in years. It was so well done, Scott.
Thank you.
If somebody didn't get it. So what I'm looking at, if you see my eyes go, I'm watching deer go by. We had like a 14-point buck in our yard this morning. And I live in the city proper. I mean,
Seth Gibson is on his way to your house.
My little brother knew he'd be jumping in his car and coming over here and shooting that deer. He'd get arrested too, because it is in Cleveland. All right. So, Scott, one of the things that really impressed me about you when I first met you, dude, some of our conversations, once we got going, sometimes we'd be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours, dude. Yeah. And you were just drilling me, and I'm just pouring myself out, and you're like, I want more. And I'm like, okay, you can have more. And it's just and you should write a book, how to get the most out of a rep, because that's one of the things that you're among the very, very best at. using your resources that you have and looking for other resources, always looking for the next challenge. I got to tell you, the first time you told me about doing the coaching with Tom Ziegler's company,
Yeah.
I was so impressed because, I had a general idea of how much that costs. And I'm like, here's a dude who really cares about his business. He's willing to invest in his business. And that's always the $64,000 question that separates really great stores from not so great stores. And every now and again, I see Jordan posting that he's at this conference or that seminar. And I am like, yes, that is that he's continuing this and he's got that same hunger that you have. And he wants to be the best and elevate his game and his team's game. I got to tell you, that's impressive, but I'll tell you what's more impressive. When you order Uber Eats because your salesperson has wants a, what was it? Was it a diet Dr. Pepper?
It was Dr. Pepper.
It was a regular Dr. Pepper, and he orders it for the guy.
12-pack. He had them. Our team had them gone by like 1:00 in the afternoon. That was ridiculous. 12-pack.
Well, I always say, feed them and train them and you'll be good. So Jordan, your culture is slightly different than your father's culture. Your culture is, you are even more hands-on than your dad was. And your dad was very hands-on, very hands-on. One of the most hands-on guys I've seen in this industry. But you're even more so. It's like you are out on that floor, dude. It's like you're there. Like they're there. I mean, you're not in an office. You're not at home. You're not just looking at the numbers. You're like actively on that floor. You want to hear what's going on. You want to be involved. My hat is off to you, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you. We say it frequently. My favorite thing about the whole thing since I've taken this seat is investing in our team. I love investing in our team, and the more they feel invested into, I truly believe the more that they're going to want to invest in our customers. So as long as I can be in there with them, grind it out with them, encourage them, and let them translate that and push it towards our customers and feel the importance to serve them. That's our goal.
So Jordan, our friend in Alabama was asking, hey, Hugo, what's up, fellas? Hugo Perez says, you tell me what's up. Marnie Kirby, one of my favorite people in the whole world. Some of my favorite people in the industry right here. I'm thrilled. I had the time open to listen in today. Marnie, I got to tell you something. You are special. And Ethan Weatherspoon, Jordan Vaughn is the best. He absolutely is. Don't get too big of a head or we'll have to come and pop it.
That's an employee.
I'll bring Jenny over, and she's great at popping my head. So she should be able to pop your head as well.
Yeah.
We'll call her Jenny, the head popper Primeau. Our friend in Alabama was asking for the keys. In your mind, is there a key that maybe we haven't talked about yet that you would, you mentioned investing in your team, and I agree 1,000%. You can't overinvest in your people. You can't overtrain your people. When your people feel like they have a seat at the table and you're listening to them and you're willing to invest in them, and they know they're growing, right? They know they're being challenged and they know they're growing. That's a fun place to be. And that's a place that if we ever find ourselves not in that place, we got to put ourselves in that place. Right.
Yep.
And that's why I'm part of these masterminds, and that's why I have a coach, and that's several coaches actually. And one of the things, Scott, that we've talked about, like when you did your book, that you had a coach for the book. When, you know, you have a speaking coach, you've got, you know, people are like going, Justin Trumbo, love Justin. Justin's like, did you see this speech that Scott did? I said, yeah, I saw it. It was really good. He's the best. And I'm like, if you only knew how hard he worked to be the quote best, like you just waltzed up there and naturally just, you know, like, you know, he's really serious about this, and he's gifted naturally, but just like, you know, Saban, you know, elite, right? You got it. So what's a guy like Tom Brady do? He's got a quarterback coach. He's got his own food, basically food and nutrition coach, training coach for overall fitness. Then he's got a quarterback arm throwing coach, not the overall quarterback coach, but just on the throw-in motion of the arm, he had a coach.
Yeah. And getting back to just selling a business or building a business, you should build it to sell. And I've told all of my clients that I've dealt with, like, build your business as if you're going to sell it. Not that you are. I mean, most of them aren't or ain't thinking about that, but build it like you're going to sell it. And that way you'll build it, you know, to grow. And of course, mentality is the main thing. So winning mentality, and that's what Tom Brady had. And was he the best arm? Nope. Was he fleet of foot? He can't outrun a wounded snail. He was 6th round draft choice. He was not really that much, but what did he do? He worked his tail off, and he's sitting in a video room all the time and studied. And that's what Tim Grover said about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Were they the most talented or the most athletic people he coached? Not by a long shot, but they worked the hardest. And they worked on their game, and they sit in the film room and they watched and I think that's what we got to do if we're going to grow and I'm still growing. There's a lot of people out there, and many of them are here watching that I'm learning from. So Greg Law, he's hired me to coach him, and I learned more than I'm teaching them, I think. Jimmy Hurtado is amazing, so inspiring. I did a little video for his marathon, and in about 40 seconds, I said the word inspiring. I watched it again. I said the word inspiring about 5 times, which I'm taught not to do. You don't use the same word over and over, but he does. He inspires the crap out of me. And RJ is a sponge. Becky Woman took more notes than anybody that's ever been to my class, by a lot. So all these people are on this watching. And they're like me. We think a lot alike. And so I love those people, and we learn from each other. And it's like your thing on Friday, winning the weekends with Pete. I'm not even in the business anymore. I just want to come in and learn. I'm not even really want to talk. I just want to learn from everybody else and what they're doing, because I'm not on the floor as much anymore. So, and I think it's important to be on the floor if you're going to train. And Jordan was nice enough to let me be on the floor a couple weekends in a row. The weekend before Black Friday, then Black Friday weekend, and I had a ball. I really miss that part of it, because I love being in front of a customer or being with the team while they're selling. It's so much fun to sell and see them win, and the dream team over in North Carolina, watching them win is so much fun. Ray and Brandon Blake up there in Cincinnati, I love watching people win. And so the ones that I get a lot of texts and emails, especially the first day of the month, and some I just not going to mention, but them sending me a text or email saying, hey, we had the best month we ever had by far after we implemented some things. So I think we as business owners should think about, how can we grow our business all the time, continuing seeking advice. And I wrote this in my book that's coming out called Bring the Funk. It's coming out next year. I I wrote it in the book. I used to be a world's worst know-it-all. And what does a know-it-all do? They don't get advice from anybody. They're not humble, hungry, or smart. And once I figured out I was pretty stupid, that's when I started learning and started getting new things. And then my kids were growing up during that time, and I told them, like, the education really doesn't start till you get out of school. It really doesn't start till you get out of school. And then that's when the education starts. So you're in school to learn how to learn, and that's about it. And then once you get out, and I think it's maybe Ken Coleman that works for Dave Ramsey. He didn't go to college because he was
Works
too
for
busy
Maxwell.
Huh?
He worked for Maxwell and then went to Ramsey. So
Wow.
Okay.
he learning from all the
Yeah.
big guys.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't go to college because I was too busy learning. I love that quote. I heard him on a podcast years ago say that. I'm like, ooh, that's good. That's good. Not to diss college degrees or anything, but Jordan didn't go to college, and I'm fine with that. I just said, you're not going to quit learning. You're going to start learning now. And so he has been very good. He worked for us, and then he went to a great company with a great boss, a great culture, and he learned so much that I couldn't teach him because I didn't know. I don't know what they know. And so he learned a different way than me. And then when he came back, he just had full ideas to implement into our company. And so there's Jordan and Dave. Dude, crazy. But Jordan's willing, and I took Jordan to see Tom Ziegler when he was 17. I think we were 17. And we were in a class of 17 people total, me and him included. And Jordan and Tom got to work together, one-on-one. And Tom kind of took him under his wing a little bit and let him do presentations in front of the group with Tom Ziegler there. I mean, and so Jordan, he got a head start, I think, because of his mindset. He's willing to learn. He's way ahead of me, way, way, way ahead of me when I was 25, because I was a know-it-all. Thought I knew it all, and I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. It was that bad. And so I'm proud of him, of course, as a father, but I'd be proud of him no matter what, and love him no matter what. But I'm proud of him for taking what we did, and he's launching it. He's coming up with new ideas all the time. Of course, the whole group is really young, and they're just idea central. And I love that he's open to let all those guys come up with ideas, and not all of them are going to work anyway, or you're not going to implement them, but get those ideas, and then you're implementing some, or you're adjusting them, tweaking them from time to time. Taking Jacob to market, I think, was a great move. And Jacob's our manager there, and he got to have some voice into what products are going on the floor. I think that's a great move. And so when you're transitioning a business, get back to that. Transitioning a business, if you're selling a job, your multiplier is really low. Like, why do I want to buy? Like, I had somebody offer me a couple of people offer me their company, but I was going to have to work the job like it was a job. Well, the multiplier is really low. If you don't know what a multiplier is, multiplier of the value of the company at that moment per year. So if you're selling a business that's a well-run machine with processes already implemented, management team, management structure, everything's flowing, well-oiled machine, the multiplier goes way up. Now, I did not sell it to Jordan at this way up number that Michelle told me I could get on the open market, of course, because he's my family. But if you're going to transition your business, and like going to Nationwide or Brand Source or whoever, you see a lot of gray hairs around the room, the business owners, and their kids don't want to take over, and they don't really know. They don't have a plan. I think Dave Ramsey talks about it all the time, having that plan to transition all the time, because he's doing it with his son. His son's the president and CEO of Ramsey Solutions now. So having that plan set up years before you're actually going to get rid of it, is not get rid of it, but sell it, if you're transitioning into a family member, is like implementing that person in the business and then growing them within the company. And so Jordan got to do that at an early age, worked there, and then he transitioned, actually went to another company, came back with a lot more knowledge. And we gave him a well-oiled machine to take off and run with it. So I think that's what you're going to want. You're going to want the processes already set up.
So if you're out there and you're thinking about transition in your business, start to document your processes and have it, as Scott said, be a well-oiled machine. You're going to get a lot more for the business. If you go outside, if you don't go outside, it's still going to be worth more, and you can give your family the business for whatever you decide, but it's going to be much more valuable, and it's a better platform to grow from. If you already have good processes and good policies, good procedures, management team in place, all the assets for the for the marketing done, the connections in the industry, it's much easier to launch from that place than it is from, hey, we come in, we open the door, we pray for people to come in, and they do, and we have an okay business. You know, here's the one thing that I would say to anybody that you're thinking about selling your business and transitioning that business to a family member. You want to hand it off in the best possible shape. So it's really important to make yourself the best you can be so that you can help them be the best they can be. And Scott, you know, something that we don't talk about, and Jordan, you know, I want you to chime in on this one. You know, you have embraced the buy-in groups. You're part of buy-in groups. You use their resources, and you've actually become their resources, Scott. You've spoken at some of these events and, you know, given back to these groups. Can you talk about buy-in groups and the importance they could play in helping you have a successful transition?
Yes, buying groups are vital to our success. And I was messaging our manager at Nationwide a while ago because they have a guy called Rick Bellows that helps with transitioning there. I'm not sure about Brand Source or Furniture First or any of those other buying groups, but buying groups are vital because you get to rub elbows with other people in your situation. First thing, to me, probably the best thing about it. Is having other business owners that you can talk ideas through. So the other things are the buying groups themselves work better deals for you for products in general. Other thing is they give you some buy downs on financing. They give you website help, all the things you need to be a small business owner and trying to run a business right now against the Amazons of the world and the Sam's Clubs and Costco's and DTC brands and what have you. But it gives you, and as much of an advantage as you can get. There's a lot of reasons there's no reason not to be in a buying group. You're going to get way more value than the cost. Way, 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 way more value. And then going to the events also. A lot of people use them as a vacation, but I use them as a chance to learn. And I've said this for years. You can be sitting eating breakfast with a bunch of people you don't know, eating runny eggs and floppy bacon, and the dumbest dealer at the table will have an idea that you don't know.
Just one idea. That's all you need.
One idea. And that one idea will make you way more money than the cost of the whole trip. So, and that's what Mark Kinsley would say when he coaches, because I just spoke at Sleep Summit. He says, I'm expensive, but I want to bring you 100 times what your investment is. And so do my classes and all the things you go to, Pete. You're getting way more value than what it costs you. And it may, people say, well, it's going to cost me $2,000 to go. That's one good mattress sale.
What's it cost you not to go?
What does it cost you not to go? Exactly.
What's it cost you not to go? So I was just on Friday, I was talking to Jeb Blunt, who runs Outbound, and it's for B2B sales reps mostly. And, I was saying, the reason to go to Outbound, to physically be there, is to feel the energy, to rub elbows with other people who are here to learn, and just the energy. Forget about all the technical stuff that you're going to learn. You're going to learn that. You're going to learn the latest and greatest and what the trends are, and you're going to definitely learn some things. But boy, it's that breakfast, it's that lunch, it's that dinner, it's the proverbial, even though me and you don't drink, none of us drink here, it's over a beer kind of stuff. For me, it's not beer, it's me with water and somebody else with a beer, but it's the same conversation. It's just two guys or two gals, or a guy and a gal, whatever, talking about their business, and something that you didn't even think applies, and you go, well, that wouldn't work. But then you ask yourself the $64,000 question. Well, maybe it doesn't work in the current format, but how could I make this work in my business? Or how could this work in my business? Which is the question that separates everybody. Because Scott, when you were a know-it-all, right? Somebody would say, well, I do blah, blah, blah. And you're like, my story's different than yours. Now you'd be like, well, our stores are different and our customers are different, but how could I make that work? There's something there. I just need to figure it out. That's a whole different attitude. And what I always say, it's like hockey. It's the ricochet shot. It's the shot off of the shot off of the shot. Right, Jordan? You know about hockey, right?
Big hockey.
Oh, yeah.
I would say, going back to the buying and selling of the company transitioning.
Yeah.
On the buying side, I listen to Entre Leadership podcast every Monday, and just about every Monday there's a kid on there, or a business partner or somebody trying to buy something out, and they just got burnt because they didn't look at all the numbers. Well, my dad was selling me the company, I trusted him, whatever. He told me it was worth this, so I just bought it. Look at all the numbers. It was awkward for me to see how much money my parents had made the last several years. But having the numbers in front of you and saying, okay, as a business guy, not as the son, as a business guy, is this a wise investment? Looking at that was really important. Mom and dad were both very open to showing me that. And then also knowing the team. Have they hired a bunch of donkeys? And am I going to have to wreck shop in there and change something up? Or do they have a bunch of thoroughbreds? And I inherited the greatest team in the country, in my opinion, right up next to the Dream Team. Dream Team's up there. I won't say who I think is better, but I really like my team. Inherited a great group, had very little turnaround. And that created, for both me and for dad, the transition really easy, both on our relationship and in the business. I mean, we were able to he was able to go, I was able to come in. It was easy, without conflict. So it was great.
So everybody that might have just tuned in like a few seconds ago, if you didn't hear what Jordan said, take a hard look at the numbers, the value numbers, and look at the personnel and ask yourself good, honest, tough business questions as if you weren't going to buy it. Hugo Perez, Scott, any advice on how to delegate when you want to do everything, yourself. Not that I enjoy doing it all, but I struggle trusting someone to do the job because I'm so particular on things. Also, don't want to feel like I'm micromanaging all the time. Well, you just defined yourself as a micromanager, my friend. Scott, I'm going to let you have at this.
So I like props. If you're micromanaging, you're this tip that's holding the flow back. You're holding the flow of the whole company back. So it is hard to find somebody you trust, but find somebody you trust and let them open the lid for you, and then you can flow. So you're holding the whole company. You think Amazon is run by Jeff Bezos? You think he's got his hand on every little thing? You think it would have ever gotten to where it is if he had his hand on everything? No. Walmart would have never, if Sam Walton was in control of every single thing, Walmart would not be here right now. Or you think of just about any company. So being able to delegate is not easy. But
Did
it's
you see
vital.
Randy's comment?
Yes.
Randy Thompson, aka the adjustable bed guru, jumps in and says, Hugo, take a 2-week vacation and you will find out where the weak spots are.
Yeah.
It's true, you would.
I had a leader one time tell me, I don't remember what he told me. No, I started talking. He said, if I can't trust you, there's no chance you're working for me.
Amen.
If I can't trust you, he said, there's not a single person in my sphere of influence that I don't trust. And if I can't trust them, they're just not going to be around me. Now, if you can't trust anybody, then you got a problem. But you might evaluate your team and you've either got donkeys or thoroughbreds or a mixture. And donkeys are going to bring everybody else down. As I'm pretty sure Dad mentioned that analogy in speech recently at Sleep Summit. But let your team make mistakes. My previous leader at the car dealership that I worked at before let me buy 80, 90, 100, $200,000 cars, knowing there was a good chance they weren't going to sell. And then whenever they didn't sell and we lost 10, 20, $30,000 on those cars, he let me learn for myself because I felt the weight of it. I felt the weight of losing that company money. He didn't yell at me. He didn't pick me apart. He wasn't all over me. He would ask me, Jordan, what were your thoughts when you bought that car? And I'd say, well, I thought it was pretty. And he's like, well, what did the numbers say? And I was like, well, I thought we might be able to do it differently. He's like, okay, we'll see. And then it wouldn't sell. I would see how much money we lost on it, and we move on to the next one. I'd never buy it again. So he let me make a lot of mistakes that let me learn a lot. And it cost him money, but it made him, I don't know how much money we made on cars that I bought, but I got a lot better. And he let me make those mistakes for myself without just picking me apart all the time. So,
And I've always said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. So,
100%.
But Hugo, yeah, you've got to get somebody in there that can help you do what you do so that you can work on the business and not in the business. So Jeff Janakovo says it all the time. Chief Everything Officer, I think he didn't coin it, but he says it all the time. Chief Everything Officer is not a title you really want. So you're holding the company back. And so what you want people smarter than you. Charlie Munger said it. A lot of people. I went to college and had a 2 point something terrible GPA. So I always hired people smarter than me to do different things and things they're good at. So I wasn't good at a lot of things. So I'd hire somebody smarter than me to do that. And that's why I'm pretty good at finances, but I've got a financial advisor. They look at this every day. That's what they do for a living. So I let them do that and not me. And so in the parts of the business, you definitely the things you don't want to do, get your process down, write it down. And so they will do the job the way you want it done. And so that's why it's hard as heck to do processes. I hate the word. If there's another word for it, I'd use it. But if you've got processes, they know what to do in every situation. So you don't have to be there all the time. You can go to the chamber events. You can go out of town. You can go on that 2-week vacation, Randy. But you've got to have people in your organization that you can trust to do the job the way you want it done. And if they don't, it's probably your fault because you didn't give them the process. But if they don't follow the process, then you've got to have a discussion with them.
We
That's what they do.
Tuesday night, I'll brag on my team for just a second. Tuesday night was our Christmas party. They surprised me and my wife with a trip to Asheville, North Carolina for several days. Not for half a second did I think about the store. I didn't have to worry about the store. I didn't have to worry about anything. I got back. The store was perfect. Pillows were perfect. Uh, Vacuumed. Everything was great. They also sold the heck out of some mattresses while I was gone. Had some record days, monster days. Uh, Had no idea. Didn't need to worry about it until I came back. Everything was great. Tuesday night, when they told me that I was leaving Wednesday morning, uh, I looked at our office manager, asked her to clear everything for the next few days. She did. It was taken care of. That didn't come from micromanaging or screaming at my team or raising my voice at my team or any of that. It's let them make mistakes. When they see their mistakes, they correct them. I trust them. If I can't trust them, they're not here. And luckily, we haven't had that problem because I knew my team before I bought the company, and Dad did a heck of a job bringing some people in. So
That's awesome. Marnie had a great comment. Marnie Kirby says the need to control is a struggle. I've learned this. Listen, still learning this lesson. It's taken me getting real with myself and seek guidance while digging deep into how I got there. Yeah, 100%. And Stu, this is a good one. Inspect what you expect. What is inspected is respected. So, Hugo, you might have delegated something in the past, and you're welcome, Hugo. Hugo says, great answers. Thank you, guys. I'm not done with you yet, Hugo. So you might have delegated something in the past and you let it go. And then when you finally came back to it, it was a mess. Don't let it go. The minute you delegate it, write a note to yourself. I delegated this to this person. Don't do a bunch of delegation all at once. Just pick one item and write all the stuff down that you're not letting go of that you think that you should let go of. And I'll tell you this, call Scott. Scott will take your phone call and ask him, hey, here's the things I'm not letting go of. What do you think I can let go of? And he'll tell you. And I'll tell you this right now, just pick one thing and let go of it and inspect it and just start small. And over time, you will start to free yourself to be able to work on your business in a more substantial way. Because if you don't have the time to step back from the business and look at it strategically, you're just going to get mired into the tactics of the business and you're never going to be free. And you're never going to be able to have a really great vision for your company that allows this company to be everything that it could be. And you have to be able to step back and get perspective. And Scott, this is one of the things that I remember one time it was in the fall a few years ago, and I'm just driving and I'm in the mountains and you called me and you were driving and we were just bouncing stuff off each other. And you were coming up with really great ideas of things you want to do in your store, but you weren't in your store. You were outside of the store. They were running the store and you were freed up to be super creative. And I think that's something we have to purposely create a space for that. Guys, I promised you with 10 minutes to go, and I lied. I would ask you if there was a question I should have asked that I didn't. So, was there a question I should have asked you that I didn't with 5 or 4 minutes left?
Scott?
I think it's important, and thank you, Jeff, for that comment. I think it's important to set goals, and setting the goals of what you want to achieve way down the road. I had a business owner message me this week that saw another podcast I was on and just said, "Hey, I need help." He was just like you. I need help. I am struggling. I am all in this business and it's failing. I need help. And so I just start with goals, long range goals. Like, where do you want to be? Like I wanted to have a certain number in the bank or real estate or whatever at 55 years old. I hit it at 52. Well, I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't set that goal years ago. And so I think setting that long range goals and then implementing, okay, I've got a short range, medium range goals in there to get that long range goals. And that keeps you on pace. And I think like sticky notes on your mirror with, this is what I'm going to work on. I've got a big whiteboard in my office that I've got my weekly goals on there. I set them Sunday night. And like your annual goals, I set those usually in October. This year I'm behind. I'm doing them right now. I'm in Brazil right now, but I'm doing them right now for 2026. So, and I need help with that. I'm not doing them myself. I need coaches to help me, like what, and I've talked to Pete specifically. Precious Pete Primeau is one of my people. And so I'm like, Pete, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to get to. How am I going to get there? And so that's just utilizing the tools you have to get to the goals you want to make. And so if you don't have goals, that's, to me, is a vital part of everything. And I love doing my annual goals in October. I didn't make it this year. So I have so many moving parts going on that I'm a little late on it. I'll get it done hopefully this week while I'm down here in Brazil. But I think Jordan is very good at setting goals and achieving goals. And he works with a team. Every month they talk about, okay, this was our goal. This is where we landed, above or beyond, or above or under. And then, okay, what do we got to do to get to the next step? And one of the things I wrote in my book, sorry for taking all the time, Jordan.
No, you're good.
You can either win or whine. You can either win or whine. Winners don't whine and whiners don't win. So if you set a goal for $100,000 in your store and you hit 80, whiners are going to whine about the market or the economy or Donald Trump or tariffs or whatever, the weather. Winners find a way to hit 100 next month. They're looking for the way, okay, I only hit 80 this month. What didn't work? What did work? Maybe maybe you had a big snowstorm down there in Louisiana, Stu. You might have had a big giant snowstorm down there, but or something. But whatever. I mean, things happen that you can't control. But what can I control? I can win by coming up. I've got new ideas. I need to call reps. I need to call my buddy Pete. I need to call Greg Law. Man, that guy's a thinker. Jeff Janakovo's a thinker. Get in MRT. Call Bob Munkle. Get some training. Mark Hensley, help me with AI. Just get people to help you reach the goals you want to reach. Go ahead, Jordan.
I think that's good. Stu put a comment on YouTube that said, start with the lowest hourly rate in delegation task and slowly work up. I'm not above taking the trash out or mopping the floors. I actually love mopping our floor. Makes me feel good. Leading by example. But if my whole day is taken up with mopping and vacuuming and dusting and whatever else, when are you going to have time to come up with new ideas to grow your business? So setting time away with your leadership team, coming up with ways to grow your business, and in downtime, your team is expected to handle the little tasks that you're obviously welcome to help out with as well. But set expectations for your team to take care of everything and control what you can control. And today is the greatest day in the history of humanity to buy a dang mattress. So that's most
right.
important. The dust can take care of itself later. Sell a dang mattress. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for coming on. Jordan, if somebody is watching this show and they want to get in touch with you and chat with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, hit me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or you can email me at Jordan, Jordan, at shophappyzzs.com.
Awesome. Scott, right. Same question for you. Somebody saw you, they want to reach out to you. How's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah. Get on my website, wingocoaching.win, WIN. Email us Scott at wingocoaching.win. LinkedIn, Meta, whatever. Just message me. Text Pete. He'll give you my number. I love talking business. That's what I do all day, every day. I'm on this thing all day, every day. I'm out of the country, so I'm on a limited minute plan for a couple of weeks. So I
I'm
won't
paying
really
for his
talk much.
minutes, so please respect his minutes.
Yes. Please, please. Thank you, Jordan. But thanks, Pete, for all you do for this industry, for all of us. We would not be here without you. You're vital, and you do more than I can even imagine. I can't even thank you enough for all you do. Thanks again for coming down Black Friday.
No,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you.
for
Thank you. Thank
having
you.
me. I got to tell you this. Well, Chris, I promise we'll wrap this up in 30 to 60 seconds. So I drive to Scott's house, and I'm at Scott's house, and I got to tell you, the food was through the roof. Jordan was with me the whole time. What a unbelievably gracious host. He introduced me to a bunch of people, and he wouldn't. He just made me feel at home. But I got to tell you, I snuck a peek, Scott, at your books. I want you to take a picture of your books next time you're home and start posting that on Facebook and LinkedIn so people see what you read, because so many of those books I've read and still read. Some of those books I read once a year. Foundational, really great books. I had the time of my life, but what was on your bookshelf was the absolutely most impressive thing that I saw there. So thank you for all you guys do. And Jordan, thank you for being on my show. I
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate
Bucket
You
list
did it,
item
Jordan.
checked off. Let's
it.
go.
Everybody go forth and have fun. And don't forget to sell 1 million. Bring the funk, baby.
Bring the funk, baby.